Welcome. This is the 7th video in the series 1 about the law of God. In the earlier videos, we have pointed out that God wants us to grow as His children and that we can get to know Him by obeying and meditating on His Word. In this video, I want to look at the overall purpose God has for His children, as I believe it is always good to keep the end in mind. In the first chapter of Genesis, we learn how God created the heavens and the earth and the sea, and filled them with all kinds of living things. Near the end of that chapter, on the 6th day of creation, God stated His purpose in creating mankind. In Genesis 1 verse 26 we read, God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." This is the purpose of God in creating man. There is much to be said about this declaration, and we will talk about it in later videos. But let's start with observing that God's stated intention was to create a being and a race of beings who would be like God and exercise godlike authority over the other living things God had made. And He proposed this before man was created, certainly before man had shown any sign of worthiness. This decree, then, at the very beginning of our world, the very beginning of our race, is the clearest example of God's grace we could ever ask to see. It is not a matter of our own worthiness, but it is a matter of God's purpose. Our Creator has a purpose for us. To fulfill this purpose, man was made to be in the image and likeness of God. The significance of this becomes evident when we read in Genesis 5 about Adam. In Genesis 5, verse 3, we read, "When Adam had lived 130 years, he fathered a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth." Seth was the son of Adam, in his likeness and his image. So that is what God meant. It is not a surprise, then, when we read in Luke chapter 3, verse 38, that Adam, who was made in the image of God, was the Son of God. There has been a lot of speculation as to just what God's image is and what His likeness is. For now, let's just notice that we are meant to be as much like our Creator as a son is like his father. The Bible includes a record of thousands of years of man's dominion and of man's utter failure to govern creation as God intended. By contrast, we read in the book of Isaiah about a world that is governed in accordance with the will of the Father. Look with me at Isaiah chapter 11, beginning at verse 6. "The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the lion and the fatted calf together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea." In today's world, the only way a leopard will lie down with a young goat is to enjoy the meal. So this highlights a key difference between today's world, what we think of as natural, and the world that God wants to make. The earth today, far from being filled with the knowledge of Yahweh, lies mostly in ignorance. Those men who now hold power in the earth neither know him nor have any thought of filling the world with his knowledge. The world described in Isaiah is at peace with itself and is governed by a ruler who knows and loves Yahweh. This world is safe for the most vulnerable of its inhabitants. This is the world God will bring into existence. What is the key element of that world that is different from today? It is this: the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord. The evidence of this knowledge is the change in how every creature behaves toward every other. This points out that knowing Yahweh means more than knowing that he exists, or even than knowing what he has told us. To know God means to carry out his will. As James wrote, be doers of the law, not hearers only. This role, the responsibility to fill the earth with the knowledge of Yahweh, God has given to man. Think about this. In Deuteronomy 18, God told Moses how he would convey his word to his chosen people. We read in Deuteronomy 18, beginning at verse 18, I will raise up for them a prophet like you among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And whoever will not listen to my words that he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. The plan is this: God would choose an agent through whom he would instruct his people because they could not bear to see him in person. The knowledge of Yahweh would be given indirectly through a prophet. In the same way, the earth will be filled with the knowledge of Yahweh through us. The ruler of the promised age is Messiah, the shoot out of the stump of Jesse, as it says in Isaiah 11. He is the man to whom God has entrusted dominion over the world in that age to come. It is through him that all mankind will be filled with the knowledge of Yahweh, as it is written in Jeremiah 31, no longer shall each one teach his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. It is in this context that the vision of Isaiah will be fulfilled. They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain. This is the kind of dominion God intended when he decreed, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. For us, getting to know Yahweh is not something that will take place in an instant. Learning takes time and effort. And learning to know Yahweh, acquiring a way of thinking that will change the way we see the world and the way we behave, will take a lot of effort over a long time. This will work only if we love Yahweh and are strongly motivated to fulfill his purpose for mankind. This is why the first and great commandment is that we should love Yahweh our God. This whole plan can only work if we love him. So thanks for watching this today. In the next video, we will consider the image of God and why it is so important to getting things right. Until then, goodbye, and God be with you.